So without further ado, I'm going to move on to ask President Designate Junior to do the official welcome.
Good evening and thank you, President Paul. A very good evening to all our Kiwanians, guests and friends online tonight. You hear me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we hear
you.
you.
Okay, good. Tonight, two of our new Kiwanians will be coming up close and personal to us. But before we get into that, I'm just going to give our clubs online now an opportunity to bring greetings and also to tell us who are online with us, with them from their clubs. We start with those clubs from overseas. Those Kiwanian clubs that are overseas that would like to bring greetings at this time. Clubs overseas, if not, we move to Division 25. Clubs in Division at this time. 24, Division 24. Am I hearing somebody coming? Division 24, 23 East.
Good evening. This is Director Bennett from the Kiwanis Club of 23 East. Professional St. Andrew Online. I'm currently, I'm on, and I also see where my fellow Kiwanian, Rachel Lola, is also online.
Yes. All right, good. Very good evening to you. You are welcome and thank you for coming. Any other clubs from 23 East? 23 West? 23 West? If not, we move to our own Division 23 Central.
All right, PD Junior.
Yes.
Good evening. Sorry, could not mute a while ago. This is ST Wayne.
That's all right. Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
ST Wayne joining from Diverse Professionals, bringing greetings on behalf of President Omilo and the team.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to your interesting meeting. Thanks for the invitation.
And thank you for coming.
And good to see you guys last Sunday.
Good. Yes.
PD Juno.
Yes.
Good evening, Kiwanians and guests. I bring you greetings from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston.
Yes.
I know there is an Inca club and the members are on, but when you said 23 East, they didn't answer. So okay. I'm bringing you greetings and wishing you a very good meeting. But with me are DP Judith Douglas, Kiwanis Marilyn, Kiwani Hope McNeish, DS Jackie Maylard, Director Designate Anne Emile. I don't know if anyone else is on.
Yes.
This is DLG Gerthlin. Have a wonderful meeting and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Hi there, Raleigh. I know you're on.
Yes. Good, DLG Gerthlin. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Good. 23 Central.
Hi, good evening, PE Junior. How are you?
Oh, I'm good as usual.
Great.
You?
Great. I'm doing wonderful.
Yes. Always with us.
Yes. I think it's my second club, or my first club, because I was attending this before I started attending CSO.
Okay, good.
Okay, so as you know, I'm PED, you've already say, from the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central, Surrey Online. And with me, it's, we only have a delegation of 2 at the moment. I would add a growing delegation. So myself and LGED Desmond.
Wow.
Yes. So that's round out our delegation for now. Thank you
so far.
Yes.
You know, you're always welcome, and thank you very much for attending as usual.
You're most welcome. Bye-bye.
Yeah. 23 Central. What about our SLPs? Those SLP in line that would like to bring greetings at this time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LG from Division 1. Thanks for the invitation. I hope that this meeting is very informative and I can carry back something to my division and also to my board.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Any other SLPs that would like to bring greetings at this time? Are there any other Kiwanians online or friends that would like to bring greetings at this time? Any other Kiwanians, non-Kiwanians? If not, I'll hand you over to President Paul to continue with this.
I have visiting non-Kiwanians.
Okay, good.
Well, not quite many visitors, but yes, I'll introduce them for one of our speakers. Some friends of ours who are here to support Kiwanian Martino. I see Dr. Samantha Powell, one of our co-workers from work, pediatrician.
Yes.
Marilyn Carter, I think also a special guest of Martino. Maybe I should let him introduce her.
All right. All right, if there's no other, then I just... President Paul?
Yes, thank you very much, President-Designate Junior.
Yes.
The welcome and roll call of clubs. Also want to make mention, I see DLGE Trevor and DP Richard. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Apologies for absence. I only have one apology. Director Warren is unavailable. He's overseas at the moment, so he has turned his apology for this evening. Did we receive any other apologies, DLG Willie?
Yes, we have an apology from Treasurer Owen Lewis.
Okay, then. Thank you very much for that. We'll move on to the recognition of birthdays and anniversaries. PED Newton. He's not on at this time. Does anyone want to share any special anniversary or birthday with us? Anyone recognizing birthday this week or anniversaries? Well, if not, I'll move on to our Kiwanis education and I'll call on LG Desmond to do so.
Thank you, President Paul. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians and guests, SLPs. Interclubbing, my topic is interclub meetings and the source is Kiwanis International Procedures. An interclub meeting is one which is held by 2 or more Kiwanis clubs, including clubs in formation or by a Kiwanis club and any K-Kids Club, Builders Club, Key Club, Circle K Club, and Action Club. For clubs having a membership of 20 or less members, a minimum of 2 members in attendance will be required to constitute an interclub meeting. For clubs with a membership of 21 to 30, a minimum of 3 members in attendance will be required to constitute an interclub meeting. For clubs with a membership of 31 and over, a minimum of 4 members in attendance will be required to constitute interclub meeting. That's it for Kiwanis Education, President. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, LGED Desmond. We move on to our main event, and I'm going to call on DP Stewart to take control of this segment. DP Stewart, over to you.
Okay, President Paul, but I just need to switch my mic to a different device. One sec.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians.
Good evening, DP Kevon. How are you?
Doing well, you know. Doing well. Can't complain.
Okay.
Great.
I don't think I was being heard on my other device, so I'm gonna stick to the first one that I was using.
Yes, we're hearing it clearly, DP Stewart.
Okay. Let me just open my camera. Yeah. Okay. Fellow Kiwanians and guests, good afternoon. This evening we're gonna do a series that we've been doing. It's called Up Close and Personal, where we ask two members to basically talk about themselves. So since they're gonna talk about themselves, I don't do an introduction. I just let them start. But just one second, please. Jay, my mic is open, please. Okay. So this evening we have the two members that we have are Kiwanian Owen Young Jr. and the Kiwanian Dr. Martino Dyer. I have told them both who will go first, and we're gonna start with Kiwanian Owen Young Jr. Just one thing I'd like to say, which might have been misunderstood. Martina has been with the club for just over a year, but Owen was just in our last batch of inductees. So he's practically brand new. So we want to make him feel really welcome. So can you give him a nice little introductory warm round of applause? Owen, it's all over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Am I being heard?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
Perfect, yes, perfect. No. So I'd like to acknowledge President Paul, all the members and the clubs that are here. It's a pleasure. So it's up close and personal. So I'll be introducing myself and I guess letting you guys know a little bit more about me. Right. So first off, my name is Owen Young Jr. I have 2 younger sisters, 3 older sisters. So I'm the only boy for both parents. I think that's very interesting, being in between a lot of females. So early life, I grew up in Vineyard Town in Kingston. I went to the Rollington Town Primary School and Vauxhall High School, and then to Excelsior Community College. I am now a father. I have a son. He is 8 years old. He's Owen Young III. A bit about my professional background. I've worked in customer service for some years and the hospitality industry. Just to name a few places, as I worked with WestJet Airlines and the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. And I was also a restaurant manager at Macau Casino and Restaurant and Casino manager, and also at 100. My hobbies are reading, and I enjoy football a lot. I'm a big supporter of the club Manchester City. Yes, and I like France's international team. Some of my passions, and my passion is really helping people. You know, I get a great joy from assisting others. And my era in volunteerism started out, or my field in volunteerism started out very young. From I was in school, I used to be like a class monitor and then prefect and stuff like that. And I was also a part of the student council body, you know, where I guess it was realized by teachers that I had some leadership skills to some extent. So I started displaying and encouraging others to, I guess, just follow the rules and just be on your best behavior. After high school, in college, some friends and I, we decided to start a youth club called the Youth with Vision Youth Club in my community as a result of just seeing a lot of youngsters being unengaged by their parents or even their peers in a positive light. So we were very young teenagers at the time, but because of going to different police youth clubs, we decided maybe we should try something like this of our own. And we have a community center, which the building was very much underutilized. And we started having meetings with the youngsters and then doing interclubbing, as was mentioned earlier, with the different police youth clubs, learning the code of ethics of what a community-based organization should entail and its values and the missions and all of that. I started out as the vice president and PRO, and it's where we were able to engage many youths and pull them away from different things like smoking or gambling and stuff like that, you know, to enlighten them and empower them through innovative ways, you know, and educating them as well. So we started to invite different persons to come in, you know, to extend their expertise in different fields and different areas has to give them light in terms of being motivated, because I mean, most youngsters in the inner city, they're not privy, or let me say, those that we're engaging weren't accustomed to seeing maybe attorneys or doctors or pilots, for example. So, you know, we try to ask persons in different fields of profession to come in and speak to them, to the share. And that worked wonders. It changed a lot of persons' mindset, and it also motivated a lot of persons to become better persons in society in different areas. And there are very like a whole lot of testimonials that I'd have received, as well as my fellow colleagues that were a part of the youth club. I also worked with the Violence Prevention Alliance, which is geared at, you know, just engaging youths at risk. And I volunteered at the Dispute Resolution Foundation some years ago, in about 2013. I was kind of pretty young at the time, but I was very much exposed in like community development and youth development and stuff like that. So I was very integral in the starting of the school suspension intervention program as a part of the youth department, where we are engaging youths who are suspended or would have been expelled from high schools and teaching them core values and empowering them through different methodologies in terms of self-esteem and peer pressure and self-actualization. We also went into schools and went into different communities as a part of this program. And I was later trained in the area of a mediator. So I am a gazetted mediator for some years now. And professionally, I'm a freelance mediator, also with the Dispute Resolution Foundation, and a paralegal as well. But my passion is really about just encouraging and empowering youngsters, especially young boys, you know, because I think not a lot of attention are spent on them, especially the ones that are lacking in parenting. So I really enjoy doing that. Besides that, I'm a full-time parent, so my son, who motivates me a whole lot, he's a superstar, I believe. He pushes me every single day, you know, and I try to be like a superhero for him and an example for him and lead by example. I would have been mentored myself by many persons who I don't think I have enough time to call each and every one of their names, but primarily my parents, my mother and my father, you know, they worked assiduously to impart core values, and other persons as well in my journey thus far who have been encouraging and motivating me. And later I realized that I have to be like a compass for myself and that beacon for others. So I try my utmost best to do the right thing pretty much, you know, in simple terms. I am a believer of Christ, so I'm a Christian. Something that impacted me greatly. I have a few experiences, but not one really stands out at the moment, except for I had an accident many years ago. I think it was 2009. And it was almost like a near-death experience. And after which, many years would have passed, and I was nominated for a Prime Minister's Youth Award on the same exact day, 10 years later, like literally a decade later, in the category of nation building. I was a nominee. You know, it was a very proud moment. Yeah, there's so much to really say, you know, but I'd really like to make this session a little bit more interactive. So I'll be open for questions if persons would like to ask specifically.
Mr. Young, Director Bennett here from the Kiwanis Club of 23 East Professional St. Andrews Online. What would you say is some of your most memorable experience in high school?
Mr. Bennett, thank you for that question. Most memorable experience in high school. One would be on the final day, I got into some trouble. It's not a good memory still, but you know, it's one that stands out. I wasn't able to graduate based on not bad trouble really. So they were tossing water. Some friends of mine were throwing water, like they're playing like water fight. And after wanting to wet up a fellow schoolmate, a teacher got in the way and the water messed her up. So she was a little bit disgruntled at me and I wasn't able to graduate because of that. But I have a lot of good memories though.
I remember that day quite well, Mr. Young. You and I were, yeah, I recall that day very well. We were playing water war that day.
Yeah.
And just for all the fellow Kiwanians, Owen Young and I, we attended the same high school together.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Young. It was nice having you speaking this evening.
Respect.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Somewhat similar, but yes. Here it goes. Is there a memorable experience as a mediator where you have impacted the lives of community persons?
Yes. So one of my most recent matters, because I'm on call with the Dispute Resolution Foundation. So based on me transitioning from a youth peace officer or a behavior specialist, I get a lot of the family court matters. So I had a matter not too long ago, a few months ago, where 10, 11 boys were involved in an altercation. It's the largest matter I've dealt with before. But when the case came in, I remember the director for that department was saying, call Mr. Young because he's the best able to deal with this, you know, like it was kind of a little bit too chaotic. So I had 22 persons inside the room, 11 mothers and 11 students. And it was, not to speak too much on the matter, because it's a little bit confidential, but they had an altercation on a bus where one of the young men was very badly injured and he had to go to the hospital. He missed school for a good while, and they wanted compensation and for the other boys to be expelled. But after conducting the meeting and with mediation, I'm also a justice of the peace. What strikes a lot of persons, I guess, when they go into like a courtroom setting, they feel a little bit intimidated, or they're expecting, someone a little bit more mature or with more austerity in terms of how rigid they are and stern. But I actually had everyone coming together and hugging at the end of that mediation and finding out that all the boys were actually friends before, and it was over a simple misunderstanding, and because of lack of communication and I guess some amount of immaturity and ego, because a young lady was involved, it went overboard. So that was one of my most memorable matters as a mediator, to actually have all the parents hugging and they were crying and saying thanks, and the youngsters were like, yo, Mr. Young, respect and give thanks and all of that, Like the persons were almost about to get sentenced and go to jail and stuff like that. But all of that was prevented based on the mediation that was conducted.
You saved the day and you saved the lives. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know if you'll allow another question, DP.
Yes,
sure, most definitely.
I see a question in the chat, and it goes, what inspired you to be involved in youth growth and development?
As I said, the inspiration really just came from the neighborhood. I was a little bit more privileged than most persons that grew up around me, having my mother around and both parents around, and seeing how exposed some persons were, not by literally just not having someone to say, don't do this or don't do that. I tried to share what I knew as a youngster. And primarily, I used to play football over by the Golden Age home, which is very close to where I used to live, St. Joseph's. So I remember playing football one evening and the ball went over the fence over to where the homes is, because there's like a plot of land that we used to play ball. And when the ball actually went over there, I'm always like the person who's like, security, sorry about that, I just want to go for the ball and come back and think. So when I went over there, I met a patient, a very old lady. Her name was Miss Beverly. Don't remember her last name right now. And she started talking to me and she was giving me some words of advice and encouragement. And, so she just, make sure you guys be good and, stay out of trouble, etc., etc. And because of that short conversation I had with her, I remember going over there constantly. So how it works when you're playing football, if your team lose, they come off for a second, and then when the other team lose, they go back on. So when my time was out, I found myself over the homes, just engaging and talking to her, and she used to share a lot of stories with me about being a part of the Kendall train crash. And,
wow.
It's a very old lady, but, she had so many words of wisdom and things. And I found myself going over there like every now and then to help them wash up dishes and fold some clothes and just interacting with the patients, because a lot of them were not being visited by their, I guess, family members. So I started doing that. And when I started the youth club with my friends, we used to just go over there and who can cut here, who can comb here, just do that and stuff like that. So I've been doing that for some time now, but I think that really sparked me that a lot of persons really just need someone to talk to or just someone to listen to, whether you're young or you're old.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you something which is similar to that last question, because now you say you used to play football, because I guess if you're Manchester,
City.
Yeah, City.
Yes.
I think I used to play football. So my question was going to be, how you really got, why weren't you just playing football like all the other boys, But I was really impressed to hear, you've kind of answered it,
Yeah,
so,
the conversation caught me.
Yeah, so that's quite, I certainly wasn't at your age, wasn't thinking of starting a youth club, to help. So I'm really, it's impressive to see where your head was at, even at that young stage,
Thank you very much.
So, Very, very good, very good.
Appreciate
Does anybody else have a question for Owen? All right, let me just check one thing here. I was just looking to see if you had okay. And remind us, Owen, who invited you to become a member of this club?
Our dear president, yes, our dear President Paul. President Paul.
Okay.
I was actually I was a part of the, was it actually it was a Labor Day project, but it was a project.
It was the
Labor Day project.
No, it wasn't Labor Day.
No, but no, it wasn't
Mary
Labor Day.
Atkins shelter repainting.
Mary Atkins shelter downtown. We were doing some painting. You know, it was a pleasure for me to have been a part of that. I'm very grateful to have been there. As I said, I've been extending myself over the years, and it's really a pleasure and an honor to be a part of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. And I look forward to doing more projects and imparting and just sharing whatever I can, at the same time learning and growing.
Well, I want to thank you very much for sharing your story with us, Owen. Very inspiring, and you know, you are the kind of person. I mean, lots of members of the club, you know, are really what we want. But I'm glad. I mean, the fact that you were just recently inducted, I can see we're doing the right thing. Thanks to President Paul for spotting you and also recognizing that you could be an excellent member of this club. So I want to thank you for your presentation, and we're gonna move on to Kiwani and Martino now. So thank you again, Owen. Very good.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled by that. I appreciate it.
Yes, sure. Okay, so fellow Kiwanians and guests, it is now my turn now to put the focus back on our other Kiwanian, and he is well, I think Martino is his middle name, because when I had his name first, I saw it was I think it was Rayon or something like that, but he seems to prefer to be called Martino, which is kind of like me, because my first name is Alphonse and I don't use it. I use my middle name, so I guess we have that in common. So Martino, it's now your turn, and gonna ask you just to, you know, take over the mic, and I'm gonna ask our guests, our fellow Kiwanis and guests, to just give him a little welcome.
Welcome, Doc.
Thanks. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we're hearing you clearly.
Okay, great. All right, so I want to thank the club for inviting me to speak in up close and personal. My computer was giving a little issue, so I had done a small little PowerPoint, and I asked Dr. Andrew Burton if he could just share the slides for me.
We'll have to make Andrew co-host.
Yes, please.
Okay. You sign on as Andrew, right? Okay, I found your name.
Yes.
I found your name. Mm-hmm. Okay, Andrew, you're a co-host.
All right, so Stuart was right. Martino is actually my middle name, but I much prefer to be referred to my middle name than to my first name of Rayon. So I'm Dr. Rayon Martino Dyer, and as you notice, something very interesting already, I do have a speech impediment. You guys, Jamaicans, tend to call it stuttering, but I call it a speech fluency disorder. All right, so that's something for you guys to realize from off the bat. Next slide, Dr. Burton. All right, so I was born on September 15 in the 1980s, and you'll realize this is very interesting here because my age seemed to be a hot topic of discussion, even at my workplace. Everybody's trying to figure out how old I am because when they ask my classmates from past how old I am, and when I tell them how old I am, they're like, no, that's not true. We don't believe you. So I tend to say I am as old as you think I am, and I am as old as I feel. All right, so in my early days, I was born in a small town called Liberty Valley in Brownstown, St. Anne. Brownstown should be, I think, most famous known. We probably host maybe the biggest Grand Market night in Jamaica. And we also have a fairly big market where people from all about do come to do their shopping on the weekend. I am the last of 3 children. As you would say, I am the wash belly in my family. And yes, I am the spoiled one. They always say the last child tends to get whatever they want. And yes, I'm testament to that. I am a spoiled child. My mom, who is here, she is a community health aide. She worked in the town of Brownstown at the Brownstown Health Center. So, and my school my first school happened to be right next door to the health center that she worked at. So right after school, I would just walk up to the health center and wait until her work is over before I would be able to go home. So from that early age, I was able to watch the interaction, between the doctor who was in charge of the health center and seeing the respect that, that she demanded and that she got from the patients who she took care of. And from that early age, I was like, who is this lady? Why does she get so much respect from these patients that she is seeing? And why is she so loved? And I'm like, I'm interested in this. I want to be loved like that one day too. So my interest in medicine actually started from as early back from an infant school. Next slide, Dr. Burton. So my first school was the Liberty Valley Basic School. Mom let me know that I started very early from 2 years old because, as she said, I was full of sense, and she didn't want me to be wasting time at home. So I started at a very early age. I then attended the Brownstown Infant School, which is a school which happened to be right next door to the health center that my mom worked at. I then moved on to the Brownstown Primary School. And then in high school, the Yorkassa High School, I was one of the proud princes of that school. Our high schools back in the days did not have 6 forms. So when you completed high school, you would have to either move to Kingston and move somewhere out of parish to continue your education. Yeah, big up Zuri, big up another Yorkers in the group here, Zuri Johnson. Yeah, so we'd have to either go out of parish to do 6th form or would go on to community college. I wasn't quite ready yet to leave home. So I opted to move on to the Brownstown Community College where I did my A-levels there. I then moved on to the University of the West Indies. And yes, you may see ×4 there. My first degree was my kind of first love. I did a first degree in biochemistry and zoology, which I obtained a first class honors in. I think I was the only male in my year who had obtained a first class honors that year. My second degree, as I said, I always knew I wanted to be a doctor from a very early age, but I wasn't at that time financially able to pursue that goal. So I had to make intermediate plans. I had to do other things in the meantime until I was fully able to afford myself to achieve that goal. So I first did my first degree in biochemistry and zoology. After I obtained the first class honors, I was eligible for a sponsorship, as a scholarship to do a master's degree. So I opted to go ahead, do that master's degree in the meantime while I work, to save up, funds to start my medicine journey. I completed a master's in pharmacology. After I completed a master's in pharmacology, I then was able to start my medicine degree. Completed that. I then did my internship at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital before coming back to Kingston to do more studies again, to do the DM program in pediatrics. Was pediatrics always my first choice? No. When I left med school, if anyone asked me what specialty I would be pursuing later on in life, peds was actually the last on my list. I thought I was going to be actually OB-GYN, that's what I fell in love with doing med school. But when I went into the real world and I had to be delivering babies, dealing with certain infections and certain diseases, oh gosh, I didn't have the strength to deal with that at all. And my consultant, Dr. Wisdom from Science Hospital, I don't know, she had some cloud over me. She had some, I don't know what impact or what inspiration she was able to convince me that yes, peds is where it is at. Peds is what I should do. And she convinced me, and yeah, here I am. I'm now a pediatrician, and I wouldn't change it for the world at all. I wouldn't change doing peds at all. Next slide, Dr. Burton. So before I went into medicine, I did some short stints, some short stints jobs. As I said, I had to save up in order to be able to afford to do medicine. Somewhere in between obtaining my first degree and my second degree and pursuing medicine, I had worked as a lab manager in Excel Lab in Ocherius. I then did a short stint at the International Center for Environmental and Nuclear Sciences. Oh gosh, they were so upset when I left. I can't forget that day. But yeah, that wasn't my passion. That wasn't my dream at all. You have to just know what you want and go after what you want. You have one life to live. That wasn't my dream. That was someone else's dream. My passion is where I'm at now. As I said, I went on to practice at the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital. I did my internship there, and I did my senior officership there. When I realized I wanted to do peds, and I actually wanted to do it to be sponsored at this Northeast Regional Health Authority, but they didn't have any posts for me to be sponsored. So I made the decision, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna waste a year of my life doing a specialty which I have no interest in. So I packed my bags and came to Kingston. I spent 1 year at Bustamante doing as a medical officer before applying and to the pediatrics program. I completed the program in 4 years and just completed it in last month. Got my results at Yale. I was successful in the examination. I now work part-time at the kids clinic. It is located on the El Shaddai Medical Complex. Next slide, Dr. Burton. So what are my fun? What do I do for fun? Everyone who knows me knows that my number one hobby, what I really love to participate in and what I love to watch is track and field. My interest in track and field actually started. I remember one day when I was heading to school, I think I was on the evening shift at that that time. So the Olympics was on at that time. And I remember getting ready for school, and I remember hearing the commentator say, and it's time now for the women 100-meter final. And we have two Jamaican athletes, Merlin Otti and Juliet Colbert. And they gave some stellar introduction to them. And I was just, when I saw the race, I was just mesmerized. Merlin Otti, she just mesmerized me. And to this day, she's my favorite athlete. And she sparked my love for track and field. And I never missed Olympic game or World Championship since the 1992 Olympics till now. I know every sport Jamaica participates in, every medal that we got. You can consider me to be an expert in Jamaican track and field. I love music also. You know, growing up, my father loves country music. So every morning going to school, I was forced to listen to his country music. And then my brother, who's an aspiring artist, he would also be blasting his music. So before I go to school, I would be hearing country music. When coming from school, my brother would be blasting his dancehall, his reggae music. So of course I got an appreciation of all genres of music. I love all genres of music because of that. If you're on my social media page, you realize I host a countdown, Friday's Top 10 countdown, where I choose a random artist each week, and I count down what I think are their top best songs, or their top best achievements. And now for fun, for a little stress relief, I do watch reality TV. And I do try to exercise whenever time's allowed. You rather put a little emoji there because I need to really be committed to that more. You know, I'm kind of putting on some excess, weight there. So I really need to be working more on that now. So what's my motivation? My motivation is all in a pick here. That's my whole life, my whole heart. Right there. That's my brother, Gary, my older sister, Donnery, myself there, and my adopted sister, and of course my mom, who is not only my mom, but she's also my father. She's my role model. She's my biggest fan. She's my biggest motivator. As I always say to her, even though she didn't have much, she ensured that I had whatever I needed to achieve my goal, even at the expense of her achieving her goal. And that's just a definition of someone being selfless. And and I am who I am today because of her. And my first interaction with Kiwanis, I was looking back through my picture album, and I saw this picture, and I'm like, Kiwanis Club? I'm like, where this picture come from? And then I asked Mom, where this picture come from? Because I just don't remember this picture. And then she's like, yeah, you won a prize from Kiwanis Club. I'm like, I won a prize? I bought a ticket or something. She's like, no, your dad was the one who actually brought a ticket and put your name on the raffle that they were having, and I won the prize. So this was actually my first experience with the Kiwanis Club, and I was very interested to know more about what the club does. And I actually started my investigations from back then, but I was derailed because I have other things dealing with. But it's just so funny how a thing comes full circle, that I'm now involved in this club that I was always interested in from such a young age, and I'm now able to actually be a part of it and to actually do what I always wanted to do, being a part of this club. Thank you. Is any question? The floor is open for questions.
Thank you, Martino. Yes, the floor is open if anybody would like to ask a follow-up. Oh, first of all, you said you like track and field, and you told me why. That probably also explains why when we have quizzes, you always tend to get those answers correct. But let me ask you, you didn't talk about yourself doing any track. Did you ever try it yourself?
Oh yes, I do consider myself a track star actually. In primary school, I was actually champion boy in primary school. I won the 100, 200, 400, and I actually wanted to pursue track. I remember the coach was like, "Whoa, yo, you're really talented. I want to allow you to join the team, so I could develop your talent." But I think my focus was elsewhere. I would have loved to say I got an injury and I couldn't pursue that goal, but that really wasn't the case. I just got my interest was kind of elsewhere to pursue something else. But if I had a chance to go back and do it again, for sure, I think I would be the next Usain Bolt for sure.
Okay. Anybody else wants to pitch in? Desmond, if you look in the chat, you can monitor that for me, please. I think I see
DP's toward Kiwan and Owen as his hand up.
Okay. Go ahead, Kiwan and Owen.
Yes, commendations, Dr. Dale. And I just want to add, it's not really a question. Excellent presentation though. I saw where you mentioned your birthday, which is the 15th of September. So one of the things I wanted to add, I'm not so good at talking about myself because I think there is so much to say, but I'm very big on astrology, and I'm also a Virgo myself. I'm the 9th of September, and I find that persons that born within that time frame are very selfless, and just always giving and very passionate about certain things, especially like sports. But very, very good presentation.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Owen. Was there a second hand up?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Doc. You mentioned that you saw this love shown to your mom and the doctor at the community health center. Have you found that love in your experiences now so far?
Oh, yes.
Similar love that inspired you to get involved in the profession?
I had some good and bad experiences. Actually, I remember being ill one day, and I went to the doctor to get myself sorted out, and I think my health card was up or expired. Something was wrong with my health card, and I remember the doctor denying seeing me addressing my concerns, my allergic concerns I had, because I was really scared, thought I was really, really sick. And he denied seeing me because he was like, you know what, your health card is up, and I remember sitting down there and saying to myself, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in your shoes one day, and I'm never ever gonna turn away anyone from getting health services because they can't afford same. And that always stuck in the back of my head. That was one of my driving force and motivation to being a doctor. Actually, I never forgot that day.
Yes. I love the tribute to your mom. You see? I love the kind of a recognition and the tribute that you have paid to your mother. But as far as Fridays and the top 10 countdown, I'd like to find that. How do I find it? How do I tune into it?
I mean, I will add you to my Instagram account. That's where I post it every Friday. I've been lacking for the past month because I had exams to study for, but God is good. I was successful, so now I have a little more free time on my hand. I'll be back up and posting my top 10 countdown every Friday again.
Thank you.
Who was the last artist that you featured?
Dr. Burton is the co-producer. Dr. Burton, you remember who was the last artist that we did? I think it was Adele.
Yes. Adele's top 10.
Adele. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else? What about travel? Whether internal or external?
You know, I will admit I'm scared of heights. So being in a plane is not something I actually look forward to. I always say as long as the flight is less than 2 hours, I would gladly go on it. You know, my brother lives in England, and he's always inviting me to come and visit. And I'm like, bro, the flight is more than 2 hours. I love it to death, but I'm not coming on that plane. No.
Yes, crossing the Atlantic takes a bit more than 2 hours.
Oh no, that's not for me at all.
You wouldn't make it as a performer then, in terms of, like, I remember Bunny Wheeler. He had a similar thing. He didn't like to fly, you know. So
probably wouldn't at all. Probably wouldn't. Or maybe I always said if I was tired enough and sleep deprive myself for 2 days and I could sleep all the way through, that's the only way.
Okay. Anybody else? Sorry, I'm seeing no more hands.
And I'm not seeing anything else in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Martino. I want to say thank you again. Thank you very much. I know this is not the first time that I've tried to get you to do up close and personal, but as it happened, you had the exam priorities, you know, before. So I'm really happy that we were able to get you to do it this time, and thank you very much for participating. It really helps us to get to know our members a lot better, and so I really do appreciate it. Go ahead, Desmond. You want to say something?
Right. Before you go, can you just highlight since they have family members on? Can we just see them? Can you highlight? Would you want us to?
Oh yes, you said your mom is on.
Yes, my mom is here and my sister is here. I mean, they're shy, so I don't know if they want to show themselves. And I'm very shy too. So I guess it's a family trait.
It's a family thing.
Yeah, but my mom is here and my sister is here.
Well, good night, Mom. We haven't seen you yet, but we want to let you know that we appreciate what you have done in terms of bringing up, you know, Martino, and through you, we're happy to have him. And to sister. What's your sister's name? You didn't tell us.
Donnery.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate you coming. Oh, that's Mom, right? Okay. That was just a short little snippet.
Oh my God.
Well, we got a glimpse. Okay.
And
thank you very much.
And can we see Owen's family too?
But Owen didn't say that. I'm not sure if he said that his family was here. Owen, was any of your guests here?
I'm not sure. I probably have a few colleagues and maybe family members. But
okay. Okay.
Oh my God.
Never. All right.
That's okay. At the moment.
That's okay. No problem. All right. Thank you very much, guys. This is kind of what we really want to accomplish when we started this little series, and it's working. So thank you very much. Back to you, President Paul.
Yes, thank you very much, DP Stewart, for leading that segment, and thanks to Kiwanis Owen and Kiwanis Martino for sharing with us your journey through this life and your accomplishments. We'll move on to the Sergeant at Arms, and I call on Kiwanis Zuri. Kiwanis Zuri.
Thank you, President Paul. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So we're keeping with getting to know and facts. So I have started telling people about the benefits of dried grapes. It's all about raising awareness.
Okay, that one can pass.
You pass him. You pass him.
Well, if you don't pass me, I'll just fine you.
All right, pass it.
It's that simple. But seeing that we in the spirit of getting to know each other, there's supposed to have been a book that should have come out some time ago with faces of all the members. So because that book is not yet out and it's dragging, we're gonna just put a fine on all the members of that committee. So each member of that committee is supposed to pay 500. I think that's very reasonable.
What's the name of the committee, Sarge?
I should even fine them for not knowing their name. But the committee that's responsible for the book, with all the members, all our names and our pictures, I think that an appropriate fine of 500 is in order this evening. Over to you, President Paul. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sarge.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Kiwanis and Zuri. I'm going to digress a little bit from the agenda, if I may. I'm going to ask Chairman Andrew to just speak about a minute on his experience last weekend at the convention at Baye Principe Hotel. Kiwanis and Andrew?
Yes.
I know it was his first time, Kiwanis. Yes, go ahead.
Right. Thank you. So the experience last week, I think we had a delegation of about six or seven. Myself and Kiwanis and Avian as the newbies. I must say it was good to be there. It threw me way back to my Key Club days at to attend an island-wide convention. It being at a hotel was quite a difference. I was more used to the conventions being like in an auditorium for a college or something. And it was just an experience where I got to meet a lot of persons at other clubs. The breakout rooms, particularly the one on service leadership programs, that was pretty enlightening. I mean, they went through a lot of information that maybe some more experienced Kiwanians would have considered basic, but it was good for me to hear a lot of the committee that I've been working with and how to better understand the structure of Kiwanis going forward. I think it was really good at the end to see they had a performer just kind of closing out the evening, and after they had introduced a new charter club, our newest Kiwanis Club in Jamaica, I think at Whitewater, St. Catherine, that a performer, and just to see everybody getting excited, some old time Jamaican tunes and people dancing, everybody eventually processing with their banners and flags. It really reminded me of the spirit of camaraderie and fellowship that we try to foster through Kiwanis. So yeah, it was a nice re-energizing experience, as was in the name of the convention. And yeah, I look forward to more experiences coming forth in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairman Andrew, for that brief highlight. I'm glad you were able to make it and to participate.
And one last thing I forgot to say. So the name Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I realized carries with it a lot of respect around
Certainly, sure it does.
And quite a lot of surprise too when people saw that there were younger members of the club, but it was very encouraging, to kind of go out and recruit and continue the tradition that has been set by, this esteemed club, the longest serving Kiwanis club in Jamaica. So I was proud to be a representative.
Thank you very much. Again, I'll move on to notices and announcements.
Thank you, President Paul. Let me thank Chairman Dr. Andrew for that little insight on what happened on Sunday. But on a personal note, and I must express my thanks to the club members as well, I received the past Lieutenant Governor Award for Division 23 Central for my contribution to service leadership program over the years.
G. Willie.
Congrats, sir.
Thank you.
G. Willie.
Yes, yes.
That thing we spoke about. That thing we spoke about earlier, can you hold it?
I will, I certainly will.
Okay.
On another note, just to thank all the members who attended the benefit performance of the National Dance Theatre Company on Saturday night. We had 256 patrons, and the response from our guests has been positive. And I really recommend in going forward, certainly to the incoming administration, that they have the National Dance Theatre Company dance as a fundraising activity on our calendar for next year. In terms of notices, on Sunday, August the 14th, please note, there will be a divisional caucus meeting at 4 o'clock to discuss increase in the divisional dues. Delegates are all presidents, president-elects, and secretary for the respective clubs in Division 23 Central and other. Please note that it has to do with the increase in dues. Currently, the dues is $400. There was a motion to increase it to $600 at the last DCM, but insufficient notice was given to the delegates, so thus it was postponed. The proper notice has been given. The reminder of the EC and C District Convention being held in Fredericton, New Brunswick from August 18th to 20th. And in terms of invitations, we have an invitation from the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew to attend a Barbie Fry on August 26th. Cost is $2,000. And so far as interclubbing opportunities, we will be interclubbing with our sister club, New Kingston, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. And on Thursday, we'll be attending the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrews meeting at 6:30. President Paul, those are the notices and announcements for this time being. Over to you.
Thank you very much, dear Jubilee, for those notices.
President Paul?
Yes,
I'm glad that DLG really has corrected the date. The email he sent mentioned the 13th. So it's the 14th, right? Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, LG Desmond. And also, I want to thank you as well for representing last Saturday at the National Dance Theatre Company.
Oh, my pleasure, President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move to have the thought for the week, and I'll call on DP Stewart to do so.
Okay. Thank you, President Paul. I do have two thoughts for this week. The first one is, most people think that the grass is greener on the other side, but remember that the grass is green where you water it. And my second quote is, if you really want something, you will find a way. If you really don't want something, you will find an excuse. And those are my two thoughts for the week. President Paul, back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, DP Stewart. Well, it was a wonderful meeting this evening, and want to thank everyone for coming, and to the guests of the two Kiwanians, Martino and Owen, for also being here. I'm going to ask that we raise a toast to Kiwanis International and to Jamaica Land We Love. this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston is now terminated at 8:18 p.m. Thank you.
And we love.
Land we love.
Yeah.
Land we love.
Okay, so you want to step